All right, now let's take our commands a one step further and try to execute those commands without running the commands by ourselves. What I mean is basically every time we have to run a command, we have to go into the terminal and have to type in the PHP artisan send newsletters. All right, but now I don't really want that. In practical applications, we really do not have this kind of option by default out of the box. The reason is that you want to automate everything behind the scenes, and for that purpose we create commands and we also schedule those commands. Now we are about to talk the task scheduling. What is task scheduling? Task scheduling is basically a kind of a cron job where you define your tasks and you define like at what time, at which day, at what time that command should execute. All right, so let's go ahead and try to create our first command, second command, a new command, which is basically PHP artisan make a command send account information. Just for an example, this command, what will do is it will basically run the behind the scenes for all the users who have newly created, or maybe I think so that's not a better example. The better example could be send account expiry notifications. Okay, so that would be a better example. So what I want is basically I want to fetch all the users whose account is near to expiry. For example, let's assume that we have a users table and I have created a expiry account date column there. So what I want is basically I want to fetch all the users whose account is near to expiry and then trigger them at the emails, which I really don't want to do manually. What I want is basically I want to run a cron job behind the scenes which automatically runs maybe after 5 minutes or 10 minutes or an hour or after every second, and then those that will trigger the emails to the respective users. So let's open the command here and we have this send account expiry notification. First of all, let's change the signature. So the signature would be send account expiry notifications, and the description I would leave it as it is because we really don't need to change the description. So what I want is basically I will run the command here. For an instance, let's say we have the query here which will fetch the users near expiry and triggers them an email. Okay, that's just an example. So what I want is basically I want to log the information, and here I want to say email sent, just for an example. All right, now how we can actually automate these jobs, or how we can actually automate these commands. So in order to do so, what we can do is basically we need to go to the app console, and inside the console we have kernel.php. Let's open the kernel.php, and here we have the schedule method here and the commands here. This command will automatically load all the commands from the commands directory, or if you have specified any console.php command, it will automatically fetch those from the routes directory as well. Now here you can see an example which says schedule command inspire hourly. All right, let's uncomment this, and what I want is basically I want to schedule my command, whereas my command name is not inspire, it is send account expiry notifications. Let's paste it here, and we have a lot of options here, like we can send every second, every 15 minutes, every second. You can see a list of options or methods available. So let's say send every second, or maybe every 5 seconds. All right, and by the way, you can take the full look of the methods available in the documentation here, which is basically the scheduling, and you have to come down to the schedule frequency options. Here you can see every second, every 15, every 2 seconds, and you have a lot of options available. Then you also have Monday days, weekdays, weekends, Sundays, Mondays, and you also have the option of time as well. So you can schedule all of your commands depending upon your need. All right, now we have scheduled and basically registered our command inside the kernel.php. What else do we need? If I go to my laravel.log file, I see nothing here. All right, this command should have to run every 5 seconds, but this is not doing anything. What I need to do is basically on local machine, I have to run the php artisan schedule work. This will run all the commands that are registered in our application. Now if I go to laravel.log here, now you can see this command has ran, and if I see what I have used every 5 seconds. All right, now you can see here in our laravel.log email sent, email sent. Now that command is actually working. All right, now in order to do this on live server, you have to actually configure the cron job. And in order to configure the cron job, we have to take a look at the documentation, what it says and how we can configure the cron jobs. So down here, there in the running the schedule, what you need to do is basically you go to the cpanel and you go to the cron jobs, and here you can specify at what time you want to send. So this is basically the expression of the cron job. So it contains like minutes, hours, days and stuff like that. So these are the 5 stars. You can create your own expression based on that. And then so these expressions are either 0 or static or 1. All right, and then you need to define the path. Then you need to define the path of your application. So the path would be like cd path to your project, whatever the path you have, and then php artisan schedule run. Now what this will do, this will basically run this schedule commands, and you can also pass the output URL here as well. So where you want to output all of the commands that have ran. If there is any error occurred, you can obviously catch those errors in this separate file. This is how you can schedule your cron jobs on the server. Now we have this command running every time. Now there is some possibility like your application is in production mode and it is having a lot of customers and it is handling a lot of requests of the customers or the clients or the users, and if this command tries to run at a time when there is a huge traffic coming to your website, then the website maybe start behaving slow. So what you can do is basically you can, or maybe let's say you have multiple commands. All right, you have like one command, there are more than 5 or 10 commands you have running, and those commands can overlap each other. Like if there is a command running, then there could be another possibility that another separate command is running at the same time. And what could happen is basically this leads to your application downtime. So in order to avoid that, what you can do is basically you can chain a method without overlapping. All right, and once you do that, this will do like basically this will lock the command, and then once this command is finished, then the next command will schedule and it will run, and once that is has ran, then the new command will run. So this is how the scheduling without overlapping works. Now there is a possibility like 10 of your commands are running at the same time, and you have a lot of customer requests coming onto your website, and you are experiencing a delay in your website. So what you can do is basically there is another option Laravel provides, which is called run in the background. All right, so you can utilize that as well. So background, run in background, you can use this method, and what this will do, this will basically schedule or queue your commands, and then this will run one by one once the command is finished, and this will actually be much more faster than the normal command running method. So that's about it for this one, and I will see you in the next one with new options.